It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, basketball fans. I'm Ernie Johnson, welcoming you to 2K Sports. I'm here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, we'll be watching the Minnesota Timberwolves playing against the Los Angeles Lakers. Looking at the Lakers, a tall task for them to win this one. On the road against a much superior team, their margin for error, pretty thin. And a guy that is often overlooked on this team is Julius Randle. Gives you a little bit of everything at his position. How do you view his development, Kenny, as a player?
Oh, he's a great passer for his size. You know, I haven't seen that many big guys who are able to play that fast and still read and react. Great, sees the game all around really well.
You know, I love his hustle. I love his attitude. You know, the way he brings these things to a one-on-one situation. Love this guy. You know, I'm a Laker guy, so really got to love the Lakers.
I thought you were a Heat guy.
I am. I'm both.
Thought you were a Celtic guy.
I thought you were a Cleveland guy.
I thought you were a
An
Cavs
Orlando
guy.
Magic guy and a Phoenix Suns guy.
Oh,
You're a
okay.
man of the entire NBA.
That's
Okay.
right.
There it
Renaissance man.
And that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later.
There is a buzz in the air in the sold-out arena here in downtown Minneapolis. There is no better way to start off the new year than with the NBA here on 2K Sports. With Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. And we have a surprise guest, folks. Here he is, the four-time All-NBA first-teamer, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, which is probably most happy about, most proud of, Kevin Garnett. Thanks so much for joining us for the game.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Shout out to 2K. You know what it is, 2K? Right. OBF all day, you know? Yeah.
Now, you can't play 2K while we're doing 2K.
No, we can't play it right now, but I'm waiting. Shout to Shaq on this cover. Shout to my dog, Shaq. That's dope. That's what's up. Gas Shaq is on there. Right. Love that. That's what's up. These deserves it, man. That's what's up.
Our contest in the West will see if the Timberwolves can please this home crowd. Here are the starters for Los Angeles. The young pair of Ingram and Randle are at the forwards. Ball runs point with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to his side. They're the backcourt. And it's Lopez in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Kevin, when you played, we all know how intense you were, how much you cared. That, to me, was the thing that you cared so much about the product, about your team, about the game. But some people have said that maybe there was a streak of you that was mean is maybe not the right word, but you were overly aggressive. But I don't know how you could have played any differently than that.
I call it dialed in.
What?
You know, I like to think that if you're trying to accomplish something, then, you know, I only know one way to accomplish something. You go at it with everything you have.
Yes.
You go to dominate it and take it over. You don't go at something lightly.
Can't walk through the park with this game.
Not at all. Not at all. And this game is full of talented elites. Night in, night out, you're playing someone that can typically go for 50 easy.
So true. Lakers shooting their first free throws of this game.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
He's off on the first.
And Caldwell-Pope is a guy you cannot leave open at any time. He, just a very good shooter from any spot on the floor.
Good on the second free throw. The Timberwolves have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is it such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. You know, say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else, okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed at which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of, we're going to walk up here together like at this speed, like this. Or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic, because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, if you got to pull them, if you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right.
And Gibson just out here to play hard defense, showing great awareness coming up there with that block. Oh, taking it to the rack with power.
And hammering down the two-hand slam. Now, here's Ball. He had 19 points in the win against the Rockets in Houston. Caldwell-Pope kicks to Randall to halt the run. The feed to Ingram. Down low, here's Lopez. And off the front iron, and in it goes.
Whatever drawbacks Lopez may have, scoring in the post isn't one of them. He is a nightmare for opposing defenses to deal with down low.
Kevin, of all the people you've faced, who is the toughest guy for you to score against down low? Let's pick that geography. Who is the toughest to score against down there?
Listen, I know a lot of people. I've always said Rasheed Wallace. I've always said Tim Duncan. They're probably the two that brought a different level of play out of me, but shout to Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson, I don't know if people know this, but Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson was one of the better defenders in the post. He was very strong. He was very long. He didn't go for any counters. He was very disciplined. He was well prepared because he was a veteran. The refs let him get away with a lot, touching and grabbing. He knew when to be physical in some positions. He knew to do what we call work early. He would meet you at the three-point line, and he would be fighting you, and you would post up probably like a step outside the three-point line. Like, he was really good at some of his techniques and how he was able to control the post. After Cliff left the game, I watched a lot of his tape, and I took a lot of his.
No kidding.
I had to, because it was so effective against me that I was able to use it against other post players on the defensive end.
I never knew that story.
Dennis Rodman was another guy I watched a lot. Akeem Olajuwon I watched a lot because these guys were laterally very similar to my makeup. Akeem Olajuwon was long. He was able to laterally move with you. I was laterally able to move with guards and able to laterally slide with some of the forwards and some of the more laterally gifted power forwards. And with that, able to get my feet together, being able to block shots, challenge the rim, stuff like that. Things that if you're going to get better at something, you got to go and reach and find the great ones that did it before you and take it, and then I was able to apply it, and I did those things.
Kevin, you were always known as wanting to play and always wanting to practice. You're a gym rat. What did you do when a coach would ask you maybe to take a breather? Let's sit out this game. Let's rest up. Would you welcome that? Would you just say, I'll let you know when I can't go? How would you handle that situation?
You know what? I've always asked the coach to respect the way I get ready for games. I've always asked them to respect the way I approach the game. I've always asked the coach to respect me and my expertise of knowing my body. I'm very, very vocal. Listen, if one person needs rest and it's me, I know how to raise my hand. I know how to say I need some rest. But, you know, I'm a person who likes to push through a lot of things. I'm a person who understands rest, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm a person who understands that practice makes perfect. And if I can work on something for as long as I can to make something better, because I know at the end when I need it, especially when I used to call it dial up. When I call, I need the answer.
He's perfect from the line this time.
And as great of a free throw shooter as he is, it's still a part of his game. He works very hard at it.
And KG, so great to see you. It takes me back. It really does.
A lot of people don't know, man. We got real original ties, man.
Back to the beginning.
95, man. My original man right here.
Here he was, man. You were a thrill a minute. I'll tell you that.
Man,
a thrill a minute.
Now look at us. 21 years later, dog. Man, can you believe
We're still
this?
standing.
We are. They haven't caught on yet. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Keep it between.
Okay. Los Angeles shooting their third and fourth free throw shots of the night.
And it's been an average year, really, at the free throw line for this group, only around 75%.
That free throw, no good. Kevin, when you entered the draft, no player had made the jump from high school to the NBA in 20 years. And what were your emotions when your name was called number 5 overall?
Oh, man, I remember that. It was
17 years old?
17, just turning 18 at the time. I was in like a whirlwind, to be honest. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of stuff that goes up into the draft. You know, things that I wasn't aware of. You're training twice a day. You know, you're trying to get ready for the combine. You're trying to get ready for pre-draft. You got to do workouts. This is all new to me. On top of still going to high school, trying to, you know, graduate and stuff. So I figured it out. I hustled and I bustled and I juggled a bunch of different things. But once your name is called, it's almost like the culmination. It all comes together. It's a special moment for just you and your family and your loved ones and ones around you. And when my name was called, it felt like the world had stopped and everything was going very slow.
Here's ball. Jimmy Butler making his last shot. Back to Caldwell Pope. There's the dish to Randall. It's Ingram on the wing. 6 to shoot. Over Butler. And the Lakers with another miss.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to buy himself a ticket to the bench. If he keeps shooting it like that, he has been putrid here this quarter.
Well, I'm sure he thought that was good when it left his fingertips. Matter of fact, I know he did.
Hey, Kevin, when you play with Andrew Wiggins, you saw firsthand just how explosive he can be. What impresses you most about where he is right now and where he could go?
Man, Andrew's potential is through the roof. I've told him this countless times that when he wants to, he can. There's nothing that he can't do. It's just about his consistency and how he sees that. I told him, man, the world is his. I've yet to see a player in our league that has the athletic ability that he has, mixed with the IQ and being able to be players on both sides of the ball if he wants to. This kid is super long. He's fast. He's deceptionally fast. Like, I don't think people know how fast he really is. Great shooter, has a great IQ, not a good IQ, a great IQ. I told him, man, you know, I would like to see him with a little more oomph in his step. But if you know Drew, he's laid back. He's super cool. He's smooth with it, and his game reminds you of Steve Smith. And when Smitty used to, you know, rock people to sleep, he has a very good patience to his game.
Now here's Towns following the miss by Brook Lopez.
And he's just a tough defender. Good positioning to get after that shot.
Well, not all defenses are constructed to protect the mid-range area. Nicely done that time.
And Kevin, do you think you gravitate towards those young players because you were in their shoes at one time as a very, very young player in this league?
A little bit, but more importantly, I see it. I see it in him. I see it that if he pushed through a little bit, and
you know it, you spot it.
Absolutely, because you know what you see in young talent, you see it when it's there. When it's right in your face, like, holy, here, go get a rebound, put it back, dunk the ball, steal it, dunk it, come back down, and then be like, huh? You know, I often wonder how much Drew is actually stimulated. You know, he gets bored very easily, but when he turns it on, he is one of the best, and is going to be one of the best in our league to come.
That free throw good from Caldwell Pope. Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
You know, Kev, I can tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I can tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It's very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny, you know, signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, we was just, you know, around each other, understanding each other, you know, playing a lot. We was playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
To bond a little bit.
Seriously, because, you know, none of us spoke Italian. You know, if we wanted to go somewhere, we was always 3-4 deep, and no one was asking and no one was telling us to be with each other. We were just naturally being with each other so much that whenever you saw us to the restaurants, 9, 10 of us, that carried over to practice. Then we got 2 teams that are very competitive. Doc's letting us be who we want to be, and he's letting us play with passion, and our practices are over the top aggressive, and to the point where it's too competitive to where he has to come in and separates us and, you know, take the balls and cut the lights out and get us out of here. To the point where he just lets us go. Now we start bringing concepts to him. He started trusting out IQs. Now we start putting a couple of things on defense. Thibodeau's in there. He's implementing stuff. When this flow is going like this, you don't know that you're going to win it all, but you know you're on the waves of something special. And that's how that felt.
Here's Kuzma. Hangs, and the rejection by Jang. That's going to be out of bounds. Los Angeles will retain possession. Isaiah Thomas is checked in for Los Angeles. Here's Ennis, and the rejection by Jang. And so it looks like the Lakers will retain possession here. A chance here to assess what parts of the floor the attempts have been coming from as we look at the shot chart for the Timberwolves.
And the three-point shot above the break has become a popular shot in the league, but not for them tonight. They're passing that one up and just trying to get their offense from closer to the hoop.
Out of bounds, Minnesota takes possession. Let's bring out the 2K leaderboard to see the best up-tempo teams in the league. Fourth spot held by the Lakers.
You know, it's an entertaining style of play. And look, I mean, those are the baskets you want if you've got the legs for it. Scoring becomes a lot easier.
And KG, talk about how the greats can just impose their will.
It's almost like another level. When you see LeBron, what he did to Detroit in that fourth quarter, that's a blackout. You don't know what you're doing. When you see Cole go for 81, when you see Chauncey come down on a 1, these players are blacking out. These are elite players in elite moments, taking the moment. Paul Pierce is one of the best that I've ever seen grab a moment and savor it and just put it in slow-mo. And nothing speeding them up.
Special players.
Special players, but I get a front row seat of seeing them. Ray Allen, the same thing. Had a great composure about himself to slow himself down and hit pressure shots. Tim Duncan, same thing.
Lakers trail by 10. And Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lou, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who have been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
The first one falls. And Kev, you had a voice in where you'd go from Minnesota. How did all that play out?
I sat with my wife, and we all kind of went through it and thought Boston was the best situation. Paul and I had great bones and great history that I don't think the world really knew. We had been knowing each other since 14, 15. I played with each other younger, and I had a chance to play with Cole, but that really didn't go through. A lot of people don't know I had a chance to play with Steve Nash also, but I wanted to play with Stoudemire, and that wasn't the case. So I decided to go to Boston. Ray and I knew each other from South Carolina. And then, the Rondo piece was a huge piece for me. I had followed the youngster in his first year and just watched his growth a little bit, even though I was in the Western Conference. And then when I got to Boston, I knew they had good pieces like Kendrick Perkins and Tony Allen. I wasn't aware of the big baby piece yet. And then I wasn't sure on the Posey part. And then all of a sudden it started to come together, Eddie House, and then all of this. And
great names.
I mean,
great names.
Just all alphas, all guys to stand up and speak for themselves and be articulate, and all different facets, and very similar facets of who we are personality-wise. And a lot of people just don't know that team there. I don't think another coach could have coached that team other than Doc Rivers.
And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2. And Kev, you think of the great ones. You, Kobe, I mean, Jordan. Timmy, yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity or the parallel that you all have is an inner animal that you never speak about. We're all a little off. We're all a little dark, but that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. When someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal, no one has ever done it, that's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Kobe that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. If Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
He did Will Chamberlain a favor, and that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive, and the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah. Kevin, coming out of high school, you were relatively mature for your age, as 17 turning 18, but do you ever regret not trying college and just seeing what that experience would have been like? I mean, it's such a long time ago, but you've had some chance probably to get some perspective on both sides of that story.
You know what, Kev, I look at it like the unknown is the unknown. Obviously, I've had friends that went to college. Some of my best friends went to college, and I think I've kind of lived it through them a little bit. Listen, when you have responsibility early in life,
which you did,
which I did,
yes,
and so from a mature level, things that interest me are not that interesting as you get older, especially when you have to deal with a vigorous schedule of an NBA schedule. I wasn't able to, be the 17, 18-year-old to chill, have, lean on the parents a little bit, be able to be at home, coming home through the weekends. I had a real life that I was responsible for, and I was growing something. I was building something. I was trying to not just be a young player in our league, but a young businessman wanting to establish something for myself, my friends, my family. You can't do those things thinking like a normal 17, 18-year-old. You're taking pieces from grown men around you all the time. You're around people who need something all the time. At some point, you have to put all this together, and you have to make it work for you, and you have to put your spin on it for how it works for you and your brand. And you have to be innovative with that. You have to be creative with that. You have to have a vision.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. Here's Thomas. It's good. He scores. That's his first basket after missing his first 2 attempts. Now 1 for 3.
You just can't take away everything one way or another. Thomas is going to get buckets.
Now here's Jones. Jang, a screen. Jones kicks to Crawford. Here's Jang. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
And really the defense fouling there to prevent the layup, but that's exactly what you need to do.
Minnesota shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game.
And they've had really good numbers all season from the free throw line.
No good on that one. And he sinks the second. 52 seconds left here in the first quarter. Ennis kicks to Thomas. Pass to Zubac. And he makes no mistake on the slam dunk.
And if that doesn't get them fired up, guys, nothing will.
Greg, just what the doctor ordered, huh? Some high-flying antics to narrow the deficit.
Well, also a miscommunication on defense. No one rotates over. See ya.
Here's Jang after the basket by the Lakers. Yes, that goes in. And the Timberwolves lead by 10.
And from the opening tip, they just crushed it. You see it now on the scoreboard.
Yeah, particularly on offense, where they've been completely in sync. Terrific first quarter.
Here's Kuzma. He's coming off a 10-point game against Houston.
Don't forget his rebounding work, too. They couldn't contain him on the glass.
Crawford with the ball. Here's Pat. Pass to Crawford for 3. He can't hit that time. And so it's the Minnesota Timberwolves bringing the quarter to a close with a 7-point lead. And they've done a phenomenal job down low. So many of their points coming right at the rim. We've got more in store for you right after this. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And let's quickly break down the game we're watching with the Timberwolves, guys.
Just playing suffocating defense. That's been the difference here for them.
And really, for the whole first quarter, they've maintained their intensity. Let's see how long they can sustain it.
Minnesota leading by 7. And Kevin, you've recently gotten a chance to do more TV. Your show Area 21 has been tremendous, and the critics love it. Talk about this chapter of your career.
Well, it was something that I wasn't planning on, but, Turner brought me a great concept, and it fit the mold of what any man cave is, and that's really what it is. But the fact that we can go in, watch games on multiple channels, see multiple games, articulate it, give it from a perspective of a player, coming fresh out of this generation of players, giving understanding to this generation of players is very important because these players now are very different. Teaching these young players, still being mentors of these players, very important. And still loving this game. It's still a beautiful game. Man, the game is growing. I'm watching these kids do all types of different stuff, man. The creativity in our game now is so heightened. So, yeah, I'm having a bunch of fun, which is one thing I never forgot, the piece of advice you've always told me, man. So you continue to enjoy what you do, and it'll show. And I'm hoping that I'm making you proud of that, Kay. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, man.
You're an incredible ambassador to all of those things. The game, the fun of life. Right. You capture a lot of the fun of life.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm enjoying it, so, hopefully it shows.
So on the floor for the Lakers to start this second quarter, Ennis out there with Isaiah Thomas. Then it's Ivica Zubac. Then there's Channing Frye. And it's Kuzma in at the 3 slot. That shot a little beyond his normal range. Ennis has got 5 points in the quarter. Kevin, we see some coaches get extremely emotional on the sideline. Others take a more even-keeled approach, more calm on the sideline. Which coaching style would you prefer to play for when you were in your prime? Did you want a coach who was animated, or did you want a coach that was just kind of settled on the sideline?
You know what? I like the coach that was settled on the sideline. You know, I like to think that great coaches are going to be able to coach you in practice, and then during the games, you know, it's about the product and what you put out on the floor.
Yes.
You know, coaches that have understanding, coaches that have vision, coaches that understand the game, you know, understand that it's a game of runs, you know that it's a game of momentum, and have plays for those momentums and those times, or coaches that I've always gravitated to and understood that
like Doc was kind of in between, wasn't he? Little bit of emotion, but he could also have a calm demeanor on that side.
Doc was all fired. I'm sorry. Doc, there was nothing calming about Doc.
I'm trying to cover Doc's back here.
No, shout to Doc. Doc will rip your head off if you wasn't supposed to. But you know what? You need to play with that edge. You needed to know that if you wasn't in your spot, 1 through 15, you understood that you were supposed to be there. And it's good to play with that. I think that you don't want to be out there playing like, you know, this is no big deal. Every play is a big deal. Yes. And no play, absolutely. Right. And you know what? That severity, and you play with that importance, and, you know, knowing that you're playing for the next guy. So, you know, that's important.
Now here's Ennis following the missed shot by Tyus Jones, and they're able to recover. Shot clock at 5. Here's Ingram, and slam dunk by Ingram.
And Ingram, with those long strides, devouring the distance to the cup.
3 minutes of action so far in the second quarter. Now here's Teague. A 14-point game for him in the win against Indiana. The shot by Butler, nobody around. That's good, and so Teague with the assist. Teague's got 3 assists in the game. Lopez, a screen on Butler. And Thomas, here we go. No one near Randall as he lets it go. Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own, but it's no good.
I'd love to see them impose themselves a little more on the backboard. That's a great way to find confidence. Always a surefire way to get back in the game.
Now, here's Thomas. He had 10 points in the win against the Rockets in Houston. There's the pass to Lopez. He dishes it to Ingram. And a miss there on the triple. Timberwolves leading by 7. Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who were some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, and then Chris Webber. Chris Webber and Malik Sealy was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Yeah. Taj Gibson's checked in for Patton. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he's checked in for the Lakers. Ball comes in for Ennis. Now Ball. He's been a reliable scorer for him as he's averaging up over 13 points a game. Here's Caldwell-Pope. Lays it up off the glass. And Kevin, your last couple years, you got to mentor some young players. Karl Anthony Towns comes to mind. How good do you think he can be?
Man, Cat is the next. He is what I call the next of the next. Yes, he has the pedigree. He has the work ethic. He has the IQ. Most importantly, the desire. You know, when you talk about players being better, I always like to think about if players know history. He understands history. He's been here before. If you follow him through his high school years, he's always wanted to be an anchor. He's always wanted to be a very informative person. He looks for knowledge. He seeks a lot of knowledge. He wants to know what he's up against as far as history. Who am I chasing? What's his number? How many rebounds did he get? What did he do his rookie year? That's what's driving him.
For Minnesota, they have shot 67% from the line tonight, going 4-6. The free throw is off from Gibson. You talk about Karl Anthony Towns and his willingness to learn. You can't be great, I don't think, Kev, if you're not curious. And I always thought that was one of your best qualities. You were always curious.
Listen, I was super curious,
Yes.
and I always chased that curiosity. Not only that, I started to put the work ethic with that. If you don't put those things together, well, I would always tell him, be humble. Don't ever get to the point where your arrogance, starts to take over. Let your arrogance be on the court and what you're doing and how you're playing. Control your breathing. The young fella had...
Watch out. Watch out.
The young legs. Ingram getting off the ground before the D can react.
And that replay sponsored by Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment, giving us an excellent perspective on the play. Kevin, we've all seen the evolution of the perimeter-style offense. Do you think it'll ever go so far that we'll see the game come back to an inside-oriented offensive scheme?
I think right now that with pace being the way it is now, Kev, I don't see it necessarily going through or going back to playing through the post. Although you have to have an alternative. I think that you just can't be all three-pointers and layups. I think you have to have a constant flow of inside-outside. I think it helps to have a post player. I think having a post player or a true post player that can score and dominate the middle opens up threes and opens up ball movement.
You played during the transition, too, didn't you? From a grinded-out type of game inside to the spacing that we have now.
I did, and I'd like to say that, Doc Rivers started the small ball, and, we were very, very keen on the small ball. So I think in today's game, you got to be able to shoot the three now and be able to handle the ball and put the ball on the floor and make decisions. So it shows that the game is transformed.
Well, you really like seeing Caldwell Pope earning these calls on the shot. I mean, it makes him that much more difficult to guard.
Shooting two.
That free throw good from Caldwell Pope. And Caldwell Pope drops them both. Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy, man. Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to be just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. The time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well, was very long, had a lot of counters, very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, Timmy's one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
Teague can't hit. Looking at Minnesota, they took the win in their last game against the Pacers. Kevin, you accomplished everything individually as a teammate. Anything that you wish you would have done, any player that you wish you would have played with, any regret in that form that lingers with you in retirement?
No, nothing lingers. Obviously, you sit back and think about, I would love to play with Cole for a year or got to, team, at least play in the U.S.
You had a chance to. Wasn't there like a rumor at one time?
Yeah, it was.
Going to the Lakers?
My connection with Paul was just the opportunity when I waited. It's what it was. But,
Cole, you wouldn't have traded the Paul Pierce thing for anything?
No, I wouldn't have, because Paul and I are true brothers. The connection, and then the team, Ray, my connection with Doe and then Doc and all that. So I wouldn't have given that up for anything. But if I could have played with one person, probably would have been Cole. Summertime, I say USA because that's when you get to play with each other and all that, and you get to kind of beat up on everybody else and be USA or whatever. So that would have been super fun. But it's all good. Shout to Mama, you know what it is. But I have no regrets, man. I left everything on the floor. I enjoy watching the game more than ever now, dog. I'm not even fun. I enjoy having my popcorn, my little ritual with my boys, and we sit back and we watch the game and loving the game.
Yeah. Down low, here's Butler. The Timberwolves again can't hit. Lakers trail by 6. Kevin, you were a mainstay All-Star Week. You've seen everything there. If it were up to you, would you make any changes in All-Star Week in the events and the way everything is kind of carried out? You've went to so many.
I have. And you know what? Each city gives you a true essence of its own identity. I would like to see each city get a chance to host, regardless of if it's big enough or not. I think that each city has the ability to host. I think each city...
if you're with the family, then you should be able to host in the family, right?
Well, not only that, but just think about what All-Star is, man. It's an event. It's a family event. And each city wants to be able to show you their best thing about their city.
And Kevin, plays like that are really the reason they've got a nice lead right now. Just a great job on the glass.
And Greg, the jam and the follow gets their whole bench jumping. Look at them. They are really into it.
But that's all about going back to the fundamentals. Defensive rebounding, you got to have it, especially when you're getting waxed.
Jamal Crawford, he's checked in for the Timberwolves. Tyus Jones comes in for T. Los Angeles making a switch here. Lakers trail by 10. Kevin, what a lot of fans don't get to see is all the work players do behind the scenes at home, before games, after games, on off days. Can you talk a little bit about that? Getting your body ready from the end of one game to play the next game. I mean, I've seen it, but you talk about it.
Yeah, the wellness starts right after you stop playing. The minute you come off the court, you're iced. You know, you got to do progressions where right after the game you shower. Obviously, you got to get massages. You got to get some type of wellness on your legs, just because you're running so much. People don't know that you have to lift weights. You know, when we was in Boston, we lift every other day. We had a strenuous strength program. Shout out to B-Do. Brian Du, who was our strength coach up there, never let us get a day off. And if you didn't lift weights, then we find you as a players find you. Because it's important for you to come in here and be strong. We need everybody to be as strong as they can be. So you have to lift. And then actually, you know, you practice, but after practice, you have to put time into your own personal game.
Right. So much goes into it. It's amazing. Some changes for Minnesota. Jang, he's checked in for Gibson. And Bielitsa in for Andrew Wiggins. There's 1:54 left now here in the second. Jones kicks to Towns. From outside, off the mark.
And you know what? You can't get a better screen. Frees him up beautifully, but he just fails to capitalize.
The best laid plans, right? Well, I tell you right there, though, that's one they'll take every single time.
Ball, no good.
A hand right in his face on the layup. Excellent defense that time in the paint.
Dishes it to Crawford. Over Caldwell Pope. Second shot opportunity, and he's fouled on the shot. One free throw coming up.
I mean, the number of points they've scored in the paint already here is eye-opening.
For Minnesota, they have missed a few free throws up to this point, shooting 4-7 from the foul line tonight. A minute 20 left here in the second. Adding a lot of flavor to the mix, Kevin Garnett. Kevin, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Hope you join us again sometime.
Man, Kevin, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always great to see you, man. Anytime you need me, you holler at me, all right?
Future Hall of Famer and a terrific person, Kevin Garnett. I'll tell you, Greg, you know, there may not have been a more passionate player in this league than Kevin Garnett. What a treat to have him join us, huh?
Yeah, the energy he would bring night in and night out is similar to what he brought here tonight. You can hear it in his voice. Just he still has that excitement and passion for the game. And his foot movement is what makes Towns such a terrific shot blocker. He moves so well and can defend just about any position on the floor.
It looks to me like the defense has no problem with him taking that shot, and you can see why.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot two.
And he just seemed to have a little more fire in the first quarter than he has in this one. And it showed in all the trips he made to the free throw line. Those have dried up.
The Lakers have made 7 of their last 12 attempts at the line.
Shooting 2.
That free throw, no good. And Luke Walton, the Lakers' 6th head coach in the last 6 seasons, counting interims. I think they're going to be patient with him, though, as he rebuilds.
I hope so. I mean, the fact that he's a familiar face, a SoCal native, and a former Laker helps buy patience from the fans. Also, his deal is guaranteed through 2020. They need to give him a chance.
Patton, he's checked in for the Timberwolves. And he sinks the second. 32 seconds left in the first half of basketball. Jones kicks to Crawford. Jang, a screen. Feeds it to Jones. Clock at 6. Back to Bielitsa. Patton, the pass to Crawford. Crawford with another miss. Pass to Kuzma from outside the arc. That shot misses. And so it's Minnesota enjoying a 12-point lead as they talk things over during the break. And their ability to get points in the paint has made all the difference in this one. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Kevin, thanks. Here with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy, you have come a long way in this league. When you look at your career now versus when you came in, how different is it?
Much different. I think on the floor, I'm supposed to do a lot more on both ends of the floor. And off the floor, I think it's still the same. People recognize my hair.
Well, it is a unique style, Jimmy. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back for the third quarter of action following halftime.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Along with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal, I'm Ernie Johnson. Time for the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. The first half was all about Karl Anthony Towns. He had 13 points, 2 block shots, and 1 steal. And Shaq, what do you think about what we saw from Minnesota?
What stood out to me more than anything else was how hard they got after it on the offensive glass. They were keeping possessions alive and converting those rebounds into points. Take away those extra points, they're not in this position, Ernie.
And over to Kenny, your takeaway on the Lakers.
It looked like they were shooting threes blindfolded. Sometimes you could get cold, but that was atrocious. It was scary. But they also looked scattered out there, and I think that disorganization was the main issue for them missing those shots. They need to establish themselves better into a better rhythm in the second half and avoid relying so heavily on the three-point shot.
And we're just about ready for the start of the third quarter. Kevin Harlan standing by. We'll see you.
Welcome back. The calendar has flipped over, and so have we, into the second half of our broadcast. Karl Anthony Towns has been sensational.
Yeah, and the fact he's posted a double-double with about half the game left to play, that's impressive.
Well, it comes down to talent, comes down to hustle. He's shown both in a big way so far.
Timberwolves leading by 12. Butler teams with Wiggins as the deadly wing duo. Gibson is the 4 with Towns in the middle. And it's Teague in at the point. So that's who Tom Thibodeau starts the second half with.
Yeah, still moving a little bit when he set that screen. He'll argue that he was set, but I really didn't think so.
I think you'll probably see more arguments on those illegal screen calls than just about any other play. Maybe the charge call, but guys never think they were moving.
Ball kicks to Ingram. Inside, Towns with the steal. And now the Timberwolves on the break. Towns with the ball.
Not really blessed with the length to be a big-time rim protector, but Randall gets most of his blocks by playing with energy.
So it's the Timberwolves now. Towns sets the pick for Butler. Here's Gibson. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. Gibson's got the first points of the second half up on the board for the Timberwolves. Ball dishes to Randall. Lopez kicks to Randall. Poked away. Butler with the steal. And pushing it up again is Minnesota. Again in transition. And the dunk by Towns.
Well, there you go. One team operating on all cylinders at both ends. Steals, fast break buckets, and the other team in scramble mode.
Caldwell Pope outside. Here's Ball. And 2 free throws coming up. Unable to get that one to go with all the contact. It's going to be on Andrew Wiggins.
And at 6'6", Ball, very similar to Jason Kidd in terms of the vision that he plays the game with. His IQ is off the charts.
First trip to the free throw line for him in this one.
And of course, we'd all like to see his percentage at the line improve, but he just does not have the touch right now. He's in the 60s.
And he makes the first. And the Lakers, Greg, for a long time could rely on the lure of Los Angeles to draw top free agents. History does a lot, it seems.
Yeah, Paul George listing them on his short list shows they still have that pull, but the Lakers will be big players in free agency, I believe, in the near future.
Good on both. And so it's Minnesota with it. They lead by 14. They defeated Indiana in their last game.
Away from home, you got to execute, and they did that flawlessly.
Yeah, and they also controlled the pace of the game for most of the night. Outstanding effort in a hostile environment.
Just increasing their advantage, and right now they're in a zone on both ends.
Oh, that's why you see them flexing a little bit. They're feeling good about how they've dominated.
And he drops in the layup off the glass. Ball's got 6.
I mean, I love the determination with Ball. Always attacking. Does a great job of putting the defense on its heels.
Caldwell Pope passes to Ingram. Lays it up and in off the pretty assist. He has 6.
You can't pass up a shot from such short range.
Wiggins outside. Here's the screen. Kicks to Butler. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
And watching Jimmy Butler, he just offers so much on offense from a scoring standpoint. You know, obviously he can get to the rack and draw the defense to him. Also really improved his ability to knock it down from beyond. Just a complete offensive player.
Shooting 2.
And he knocks down the first one. And Greg, as you said, Butler is a threat to score from any part of the floor.
It's a bit of a dying art, though, hitting that mid-range jump shot. Butler also does a great job of getting to the line. That's increased over the course of his career. Just a well-rounded offensive player.
Here's Caldwell Pope. Lopez left side. Bank shot, no good.
And that's the shot you want to create. They just can't get it to fall.
That just shows you can do everything right sometimes, but still get the wrong result.
Here's Ball. A stupendous finish in traffic. Ball's got 6 points in the quarter.
Solid start to the half for them. 3 of 4 from the field now.
Butler against Caldwell Pope. Here's Towns. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. Butler's got his 4th assist in this one.
And you can see that Butler is the total package. Solid at recognizing when one of his guys is open.
Timeout called the Lakers. In addition to going over the game plan and making whatever necessary adjustments have to be made, Greg, this timeout also the time for players to get rehydrated or hydrate for the first time with some Gatorade. Plenty of basketball still to be played here, and they have to get recharged.
That's a great point. Without proper hydration, a player can completely run out of gas down the stretch of a game. And that's something that none of these guys can afford to have happen. If you're going to battle all the way to the finish, you have got to be hydrated.
And Caldwell Pope gets the basket.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
T kicks to Wiggins. Third quarter of basketball here, and just a little under 3.5 minutes gone by. That one goes. Count it. 19 points for Karl Anthony Towns.
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
And here is Ball. 8 points for him. Caldwell Pope kicks to Randall. Pick by Randall. Here's Lopez. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Lopez has got his second bucket.
Fantastic ball movement. They're picking them apart with their passing.
Teague with the ball. Now guarded by Ball. Butler dishes to Towns. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Shot's good by Gibson.
That was all about the assist. Great pass to set up the shot.
Looking at Los Angeles, they took the win in their last game against the Rockets in Houston.
I tell you what, how efficient they were at scoring the basketball, especially for an away game, that was impressive.
A good poise led to good shot selection, and that was the key to maximizing their opportunities.
Ball, no good.
A slight rebound advantage for them. One more column in their favor, and it's all adding up.
Hangs in the air, and it's laid in by Gibson. Gibson's got 10 points in the game.
After failing to be aggressive and look for a shot in the first half, you don't have to let him know this time. You don't have to remind him now. He is really taking this game over in the second.
Kick by Randall. Lopez passes to Caldwell Pope over Butler. Nice spin off the left rim and in. 14 points for Kentavious Caldwell Pope.
Well, he's doing his best to get them back into this game. He's been money from the field.
Here's Towns. Randall grabs the board. Randall's got double-digit rebounds now in the game. It's Caldwell Pope with the drive, and it's good. 2 points.
Just impressed with the teamwork out there, setting the table for one another.
Minnesota leading by 12. They set the pick. Towns sets the pick for Teague. He kicks it to Towns over Lopez. Another miss by Towns.
And as he squares up from mid-range, the defender right in his face.
Well, he did a great job of staying patient, letting the man make his move, and getting right up on the jump shot.
For Minnesota, they've gone 7 of 12 from the floor since coming out of the break. Chris, you've been on both sides of the coin for this. When it comes to a veteran presence in the locker room, just how important is that? You know, when you were a young player getting it, and maybe as an older player when you were preaching it.
When I was a rookie, Kevin, I needed a veteran just as much as I needed an assistant coach. They were that important to me because when you think about it, that's how you learn your routine.
Wow.
What to eat before a game, how many hours to eat before a game, how to recoup after a game, how to say no to your friends and family for playoff tickets because, you know, you're at home and you got to buy 75 tickets. You know, just kind of how to navigate through life. That veteran player can help. And I think that's one thing when the game kind of got lost in years past, it was because we lost that veteran presence in the locker room. And so, to me, the veteran presence is everything. You know, Chris Mullin getting on me because I'm a rookie. I mean, I would have paid him to do that. So, you know, it's really cool because just as much as they get on you, they help you and they explain the game, help you out with life and everything else. So it's like a big brother relationship.
Oh, that's good to hear. Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. And some changes here for the Lakers. Thomas against Crawford. Screen by Jones. Fires at the elbow. Will not go. This is off the front iron. Lakers trail by 14. Ennis with the ball. He has 5. Here's Thomas, and the shot goes down. Thomas got his second basket of the night.
At the rim, long distance. Thomas can score from anywhere on the court.
Here's Patton, and he banks in the layup. And the Timberwolves lead by 14.
Hits the moving target with the lead pass. He made it look so easy.
There's a good screen. Thomas kicks to Zubac. Here's Kuzma. There's the feed to Ennis. Pass to Zubac. Here's Kuzma. Here's Ennis. Trying his luck deep. It's good from long range. Ennis has got 8. Minnesota leading by 11. Down low. It's Bielitsa. Kicks it out to Jones. Crawford against Thomas. Crawford's shot is good.
That's a tough size matchup there, and he takes advantage of it from mid-range.
Lakers trail by 13. Passes it to Kuzma. Now here's Thomas. And you can see his scoring totals. Those are some pretty good numbers. He's putting up close to 15 points a game on average. Minnesota shooting a respectable 47% from the field in this one. Outside, Jones, Chang, and a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. Now let's go to the 2K leaderboard to look at the teams that specialize in intimidation. In 4th, the Timberwolves.
I mean, terrific rim protection. I mean, they rotate and help on the inside as well as anybody. And, of course, you want to keep offenses on the outside shooting jump shots, and that continues to be the goal.
Shooting 2.
No good on the free throw.
I love the complementary aspect of this group now. You know, you've got the young talent, but you've brought in some veteran leadership here for the Timberwolves. The duo of Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns kind of gave the confidence to them to go out and acquire a superstar in his prime like Jimmy Butler.
And he sinks the second. And Greg, the core of this Timberwolves team is Wiggins and Towns. And, you know, rarely do you get to see 2 #1 overall picks team up early in their careers.
And how about back-to-back years, no less. But I consider Jimmy Butler kind of a foundational piece as well. He's in the conversation for the best shooting guard in our league.
And with the success they've had rebounding the basketball, they're right where you'd expect them to be, firmly in the driver's seat.
The putback controls the rebound and puts it back up and in.
Just in a perfect position to grab that rebound and then get the putback.
Timberwolves leading by 12. Now Crawford. He's got 14. Screen by Jones. The Timberwolves again can't hit.
His percentage from the field is not very strong this quarter.
Ennis passes to Kuzma. The shot, no good. And Minnesota now the other way. They went to Los Angeles for their last meeting with the Lakers and came out with a victory.
A huge margin of victory for them when these two teams squared off last. And they got scoring from up and down their lineup.
Yeah, and when your bench is putting up major points, makes the whole offense that much more difficult to defend. They went to blowout city.
The Timberwolves have had 12 attempts at the line, making 8 so far.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And he knocks down the first one.
Well, the Lakers are enduring the worst 5-year stretch in the franchise's history. They've missed the playoffs in consecutive seasons only once, and that was back in the mid-'70s. Last season, their 4th straight in the lottery.
That one falls, so he hits both of them. And the Lakers have always considered themselves a championship or bust type of franchise.
Well, that mentality runs up against the reality of their situation. I mean, they seem to have accelerated the process with some draft fortune and free agent signings, and then especially with Magic coming back, you know the magic is back. This upcoming offseason will be a big one for them.
And here's Jones. The pass to Patton. There's a good screen. Timberwolves passing it around. Just 5 to shoot. Jang a screen. Crawford, no one around him. Offensive rebound. It's deflected. The shot's good.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time taking the lid off.
Thomas goes in. Terrific design on the pick play, and he lays it in. Thomas got 6 points.
And Kevin, this is another area where Thomas has matured. I mean, when you think about it, taking his pick and roll game to another level.
Here's Crawford, and the rejection by Zubats. To the paint. Here's Fry. Tries again. Lays it up and banks it in.
That's what every team needs, guys getting after it on the offensive boards.
Minnesota leading by 12. Jones with it. 27 seconds left to play here in the third. Jang a screen. Deep 2 from Crawford. Crawford with another miss.
Boy, he has been cold for a while now.
And it's sad because the team relies on him to be a threat offensively. When he's rolling, that makes them a much more dynamic offense. Efficient tonight, but certainly not dominant. He needs to take control of some of the scoring.
Right side Jones. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Crawford.
That's just a lack of communication. Two guys just not on the same page.
From deep three-point range, and so it's the Minnesota Timberwolves going into the break with a 10-point lead. Looking good at this point, but wanting more. We've got more in store for you right after this. Now let's hear what Coach Tom Thibodeau was reviewing with his team in the huddle.
Keep digging, man. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting every loose ball. Make it hard on them. Make them hard.
And there's Tom Thibodeau focusing on the toughness and effort he'd like to see from his team.
Yeah, he wants them to just leave no stone unturned, take advantage of every opportunity, and that's going to be the roadmap to success.
Hello and thanks for joining us, folks. The fourth quarter of play getting started. And on the court for the Lakers to start the fourth. Ivica Zubac is out there with Channing Frye. Then it's Ennis. Then it's Thomas. And it's Kuzma in at the 3, the small forward. Crawford missing again.
Well, Kev, I'm not sure if it's because he's shooting on the opposite side of the floor this half, but he just can't buy a bucket.
That is some tough defense there against one of the better finishers in our game.
Pass to Bielitsa from downtown, gets the three-pointer to fall. Bielitsa's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for Minnesota. Here's Thomas. Looking to get back on track here, and the layup is good.
And defensively, they are on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
Crawford against Thomas. It's Crawford with the drive. It's Bielitsa. No good with the triple.
It's been a rough game for him, but it won't sting too bad as long as they hang on to the lead.
The lead now cut to single digits.
No more for his scoring than his playmaking, but Thomas looking to become more balanced as a lead guard.
And the Timberwolves call time here.
Well, how about Isaiah Thomas making his second All-Star game last season? I mean, many people felt he should have been a starter. The fan vote ended up early and giving it to Kyrie Irving and DeMar DeRozan instead, but terrific season for Isaiah Thomas.
And Thomas last season setting career highs in scoring and efficiency, Chris.
Oh, well, he took his play to a new level. Only 5'9", but you can't measure the size of his heart.
So both teams making some changes here. Now let's go to the sideline and catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge.
Thanks, guys. I listened to Tom Thibodeau talking to his team during the break. He told them, put your foot on their neck. Take it to them. I want to see you guys slow it down out there, use the clock, and stay away from silly fouls. Let's see if they can execute the plan, guys.
Oh, he just punches that one down with a fury.
And he rubs it in a little deeper with the hanging finish. Randall, a screen on Butler. Here's Ball. The rebound by Gibson.
It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Minnesota leading by 11. Teague dishes to Wiggins. Outside Butler. Gibson the screen. Jumper off the screen, and it's Butler missing. For Los Angeles, they've gone 2 for 5 on field goal attempts in the fourth quarter. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2. And Chris, Julius Randle with outstanding court vision for a power forward.
That ability to create offense for himself and his teammates is going to be a huge asset.
The first free throw is good.
And Julius Randle, that 7th pick back in the 14 draft out of Kentucky, was a 5-star recruit out of high school and was able to help get the Wildcats to the championship round. So this is a guy who is used to the spotlight.
He doesn't get the second one. And Julius Randle with an intriguing game, a great rebounder. He's a pretty good ball handler for his size, too.
Yeah, he likes to rip it and run, and very athletic when he gets ahead of steam, and boy, he can be tough to contain.
What a total 180-degree turn here. He wasn't making anything in the first half, but he looks like a totally different player now in the second half.
Picked by Randle. Ball kicks to Lopez. He feeds it to Ingram. Down to 5 on the shot clock. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And Brandon Ingram, the second overall pick in 2016 out of Duke. What do you make of his rookie season?
You know, very much a work in progress. You have to remember how young he is. Didn't turn 19 until 3 months before the draft. And he's still rail thin. So he's got a chance to improve very quickly over the next few seasons as his body continues to mature.
And the first one drops. And we hear so much about this being the era of point guards, but you look at the crop of small forwards in the league today, wow, what a lineup. And talk about versatility. There are a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, the NBA has changed a lot. The 2-guard used to be the most athletic position when you think about it, with the Jordans, the Clyde Drexlers, other guys, but it's really changed. And really look at the size. Kevin Durant, you know, I was always amazed. I'm a power forward at 6'9". He's 2 inches taller than me, and he can play the point guard. So the game is evolving when you look at Kevin Durant, LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, Antetokounmpo, Jimmy Butler, those type of guys. When you want to talk about versatility, playing both ends of the floor and being able to score and get buckets, these guys come to mind.
And Isaiah Thomas, phenomenal in the pick-and-roll game.
Well, he's one of the best isolation scorers in the league. It's almost impossible to keep him in front of you because he has so many ways to score. He has a low center of gravity. He's quick, and he's not afraid of contact.
First free throw is good.
When you look at Isaiah Thomas, I think when it's all said and done, he'll go down as one of the all-time great scorers under 6 feet in history. I mean, you might say he's already there.
Both shots good from the stripe. Minnesota leading by 9. Outside Teague. Here's Butler. That's good, and so Teague with the assist.
And they're passing the ball very crisply here.
Lakers have gone 2 for 5 on field goal attempts in the fourth quarter. Thomas kicks to Randall. Out left to the wing. Here's Ball. Rebound, Minnesota. Towns has got his 16th rebound on the night.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
Lakers trail by 11. Here's Ball. And Karl Anthony Towns pulls it down. Towns has got rebound number 17, if you can believe that. Gibson. The Lakers with the rebound. Now, here's Ball. No good on the shot. Great D that time from T. On the wing, Wiggins. There's the triple. The shot that time, not on target. And it's the Lakers the other way.
He hit a 3 in the first half. Now he's searching for his first outside shot in the second half.
Ingram passes to Thomas. Rejected by T.
And who would have thought it would be T to send that shot away? Great block.
Offensive rebound.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots simply have not been there. Nothing seems to be falling.
Count that one, and the Minnesota lead has been cut down to 9 in the bucket from Ingram.
I like to see them getting the ball down low and then getting a quality shot.
Outside Teague. Towns a screen on Lopez. Right side Teague. 6 on the shot clock. Towns. And the dunk by Towns.
And he can do a lot more damage to the rim than that when he wants to.
Oh, you're right. And with the lead they're enjoying, I'm surprised he didn't put a little something extra on that one. Thomas kicks to Randall. Lakers passing it around. Ball with it. Picked up by Teague. Gibson with the steal. Lets a floater go. A reverse. Basket is good, and he'll get a chance for one more at the free throw line.
Yeah, I love how Teague was able to shield off the defender and still go up and finish for a chance at the three-point play.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he's checked in for Isaiah Thomas. And Jeff Teague coming over to the Timberwolves in free agency. Greg, the team felt he was the perfect fit.
You know, and it seemed for a while the Wolves had wanted to kind of mix things up at that point guard position. And you knew they had someone in mind when they dealt both Rubio and Dunn in the offseason. Teague was their man all along.
Here's Ingram. And Karl Anthony Towns pulls it down.
Their game plan needs to change if they're going to get out of this hole, because he is just not there offensively. And for a player with his size, Towns has always been very comfortable at the free throw line. And that's a good thing, because he finds himself there quite a bit.
Shooting 2.
The first free throw is good. Well, Towns does so many things on the floor, already an elite post scorer. But, Greg, one area that he has struggled with at times is his defense against other bigs.
And I think he'll continue to improve in that area. What happens with young guys, though, is oftentimes you're in proved how good I am mode when you're young, and you lose sight of some of the things that help you win games. And I think that's one reason why he had one of the worst defensive RPMs in the entire league. But young bigs tend to take a bit longer to develop into great defenders, and I expect he will follow in that line.
Ball with the bucket.
There's just a feel that Ball plays with that really separates him from so many other players. He's superb at finding ways here to score in the paint.
Towns sets the pick for Teague. The dish to Towns. Right side Gibson. Good, and the assist goes to Towns. Gibson's got 12 points here in the second half.
He didn't let that first half get him down. He has come out firing on all cylinders to begin this second half.
Ball dishes to Caldwell Pope. Caldwell Pope on the wing. Feeds it to Ingram. Over Butler. He can't get that one to fall. And it's Brandon Ingram with the foul. That's foul number 2 for him.
And the next one puts him in the bonus.
Timberwolves leading by 16. Teague with the ball. Now guarded by Ball. Back to Teague.
And the ability of Caldwell Pope to get in the shooter's head. Love having a guy like him who puts a lot of energy into the defense.
He dishes it to Ingram. Great D that time from Gibson.
Well defended, though, and he's not someone who handles that kind of pressure very well.
They've been looking out of sync offensively.
Yeah, their offense has ground to a standstill.
Outside Teague. Wiggins from outside. Again, Wiggins missing. Lakers trail by 16. Now Ball. Dishes to Randall. And here is Ball. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Ball's got 4 points now in the quarter.
Gotta respect how quickly Ball gets to the rack. I mean, if you give him the lane to the rim, he is going to exploit it quickly.
Randall kicks to Ball. Nailed from three-point land.
Now, that's a shot they'll be happy with on every trip, no matter who's taking it.
Outside Teague. Here's Towns. Not enough on that one as it misses. LA has gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the fourth. Here's Ingram. Had a chance there to cut it to single digits, but it's off target. Minnesota leading by 11. Teague with the ball. Kicks to Towns. Clock at 6. Good on the bucket. Towns has got 25 points in the game.
Defensively, this is what you know. He's coming off a hot game and looking to keep it rolling.
Yeah, but here's the problem. They play team ball. So if you pay him too much attention, that just leaves other guys open and is too difficult of an adjustment to make.
Timeout called the Lakers. And Chris, you've been working as an analyst now for quite some time. Do you feel that how you view and enjoy the game has changed as you've transitioned from being a player on the floor to the booth?
You know what? I've learned a lot, and I've learned to look at the game a different way, but I look at the game the same way. I think the onus is on the player to execute what the coach and the GM puts out there for you to do, for you not to become a one-dimensional player, for you to improve in the summertime. That's the only time you can improve. And when you don't come back and you don't improve, it's obvious that you have the same glaring weaknesses that you had the year before. Even if you're not on a team that can compete for a championship, you want to make sure that you compete for a championship, that you compete for an all-star, that you compete to have your name out there. And so a lot of times we'll watch some of those teams, and I love seeing if they compete or if they laid it down early in the season. So, no, I would say that really what gives me an advantage is that the way that I looked at the game, and hopefully, you know, that gives me a unique perspective when I'm out there trying to talk to other basketball heads like myself.
Randall no good.
That's what we're talking about in terms of the activity level defensively. You got to protect the rim.
Well, that takes physical ability, good timing, those two things that he possesses.
Here's Caldwell Pope. Good on the shot, and that shaves the lead to single digits.
And the versatility of Caldwell Pope, not just the score from outside, but also a threat to shoot the ball close to the hoop as well.
Teague kicks to Wiggins. Lopez against Towns. Shoots from the baseline. Another miss by Towns.
The defense there got away with a major lapse.
The feed to Lopez. It's Ingram on the wing. Looking to get it going. Randall passes to Caldwell Pope. Over Butler. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron. 20 points for Kentavious Caldwell Pope.
And you have to do a ton to distract Caldwell Pope. Just razor-sharp concentration when he's going up with the shot.
That one goes. Count it. And the Timberwolves lead by 9.
Nice bucket. There's no question about his skills at the offensive.
to Randall. All sorts of time. Again, Los Angeles.
You know the coaching staff likes that. They've been working on him becoming more and more comfortable with the catch and fire. Randall rewarding their confidence.
And you know what? Tried to step in and cut him off, but just didn't get there quick enough.
Shooting 2.
He hits the first one, and that stretches their lead to 8.
And as you would expect from the way he plays, Teague is a terrific free throw shooter.
And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 9-point ball game here. Time running out for the Lakers. Here's Caldwell Pope. Kicked by Randall. Here's Ball. A rebound by the Timberwolves. At one point, they led by 16. Teague with the ball. Now guarded by Ball. Teague against Caldwell Pope. Teague dishes to Towns. Here's Gibson. The Timberwolves again can't hit.
The movement and the shot selection are good there, but you can't hit them all.
Ball with the bucket.
Yeah, liking the vision there from Caldwell Pope, looking to get his guys going when they're open.
3 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. Here's Wiggins. Somehow ignores the tight D and gets the way up. And here's Los Angeles. 9-point game. Ingram. And Karl Anthony Towns pulls it down.
And low percentage look on that one. Not sure what he was thinking.
Sometimes you get a little outside of yourself. You have to be a little more disciplined.
So the first one drops, and that'll push the lead to double digits. And Towns drops them both.
Those free throws are the nail in the coffin, guys.
Los Angeles calls timeout. They're behind by 11. 12 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. The three from Thomas. That shot is off. Nice D from Crawford. And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. Even early on in this one, it seemed like they were happy to be playing at home tonight.
And it makes a big difference. And once they started to really play in rhythm, you never felt like they had any doubts as to whether or not they were going to win.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks, Kevin. Jamal, how did you guys get this win tonight?
We have good players. We have a good coach. I mean, he put us in good positions to succeed. Our players play for each other. We don't care about who scores, and we're a real team.
Yeah, there was a lot of flow out there tonight. Congrats again. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. Great interview once again. And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Chris Webber, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. Thank you for being with us. So long.